rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And we will have roll call. Councilmember Buss.
Here.
Councilmember Batcher.
Here.
Councilmember Morgan.
Here.
Councilmember Sharpie.
Here.
Councilmember Thomas.
Here.
All council members are present. Also at the table on my left is staff member Phil Mangus, and he will be taking notes of the meeting in the absence of Amy Newsom, city administrator. She had a medical procedure this morning. I think it went well. I trust it did, and she will be back in a few days. On my right is city attorney Ross Arneson. So with that out of the way, I would ask Police Officer Nathan Walton to step forward, please. Kurt, do you need to want to get in position? Or what do you want in the back?
Sure. Oops. You want me in the middle of them? Nope, just like, yep, just right there is perfect.
Give you that to read on. Okay, all right. Did you want to take one before we actually do it?
Yeah, he can put his hand up, and that way I won't get him looking down reading, so if you can look at the mirror, though.
No matter how painful it is.
Perfect.
Okay. All right, Nathan. I, Nathan Walton,
I, Nathan Walton,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
and the Charter of the City of Arlington,
and the Charter of the City of Arlington,
and to discharge faithfully
and to discharge faithfully
the duties devolving upon me
the duties devolving upon me
as a police officer in the City of Arlington,
as a police officer of the City of Arlington,
to the best of my judgment and ability.
to the best of my judgment and ability.
Congratulations, welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Do you want his family up here real quick for a picture? Yeah, do you want your family to come up for a
yeah.
picture? I can take that. I'll have you sign a couple when you're done, okay?
Will do.
Yeah, just
Santino, you
take
want
care
me
of the
to
family
sign?
first.
I'm his eldest son.
He's lying. Maybe we could see. Mom, alright, there we go. Everybody's here. Come on, just don't worry about it. Whoops.
Get in front so we can see.
There you go.
Scooch over.
There we go. And we
What
got
I might
everybody.
do is put you in the middle a little bit.
Me?
No,
Oh,
well, yeah, right here, the girl. Just slide over, just,
there.
no.
Otherwise you're covering your dad's chamber.
How about there?
There.
Then him out just a tiny bit, so we can see everybody. Ooh,
No, really.
I missed the action
No,
shot.
Allie,
Okay, smile. I'll take a couple more. One more, big smiles. Awesome.
one right here for me. Alright, one for the police chief.
All right. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Welcome to Arlington.
Thank you.
I gotta sign some paperwork.
We didn't even have to bribe him for the camera. That worked out great. Nice job.
For now.
Sign
Oh,
each of
did you
those.
send
You got a pen?
Yes, sir.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Okay, me too.
Let's just all send, let's just fill it inbox for pictures. I'll show love.
And he keeps that one then.
Okay.
All right.
Nice to see you.
Actually see each other.
Yeah. No man. Thanks everyone for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Item 4, approve the agenda. Does anyone have anything to add to the agenda? Any changes in the agenda? Oh, go ahead. Yes, for the sidewalk discussion. That would be added as item 23 under new business. And it would be the sidewalk project for 2021, sidewalk repair project. Okay, any other changes? I'm sorry, that would be 23 under new business, yes.
Make a motion to approve the agenda with the amendment, or with the addition of the sidewalk project.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Batchor, second by Councilmember Sharpie to approve the agenda with the addition of item 23 under new business, that being the sidewalk project. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carried. Consent agenda. This evening, the consent agenda consists of the following items. Approval of the bills. Item B, approval of the May 3rd, 2021 City Council Workshop Minutes. Item C, approval of May 3rd, 2021 City Council Minutes. Item D, approve resignation of Library Director Kathy Hami, retirement effective August 6th, 2021.
I just have one question, since we don't technically hire Kathy, is the county replacing her, or how does?
The county takes care of replacing her, yes.
The red one. They probably got hot.
Yeah, it's gonna take a while.
Yeah, this is the county takes care of replacing her, so this is just acknowledging the fact that she is resigning. City, yep, go ahead.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Batchor, second by Councilmember Morgan to accept the consent agenda as read. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. All right, item 6, addressing the council. This is concerns for current on-sale liquor license holders regarding proposed new off-sale liquor store. We have some people wish to speak to the council. This again is not a conversation between these individuals and the council. It is just a listening session. The council will listen to your input and you have no more than 5 minutes. First one on the list is Renee Dose. If you would come up to the table and just state your name and address, or sit down please and pull the microphone close to you. I hope it's on. Push the button on.
Okay,
There we go.
can you hear me?
Yeah. Go ahead, Renee.
I get really nervous, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
My name is Renee Does. I'm from Arlington Liquors. I've owned the business for 13 years and the previous owner for 4, and I think it has been a great asset to the city of Arlington. I'm here to ask you not to allow another off-sale license for several reasons. It's a Main Street business, and we have lost a few in the last few years. I would hope that you wouldn't want to lose another Main Street business. Number 2, Arlington cannot support another off-sale for the size of town we have, especially with off-sales in 2 directions, Arlington, or Gaylord and Greenough within 7 miles that have several. And a request to them was also turned down from Gaylord. And number 3, I'm trying to sell my business. Should another one open up, I would not be able to sell. And I'd probably have to close it. And I just want to thank you for listening.
Okay, thank you for sharing your thoughts. Appreciate it. Corinne Carney? Is she here? She's not here. Denise Swenson? Hello, Denise.
Hello. Well, I'm here to say we don't need another off-sale in town. I don't know if people realize, there's 3 off-sale licenses already in this town. The liquor store, the dugout, and the Arlington House. And I too don't think we could support 2 liquor stores. I came here 35 years ago. There was 2,200 people in town, and there was 1 off sale, the municipal that the city owned. 35 years later, we have a liquor store and 2 other licenses out. And it's the same amount of people in town, 2,200 people. So I'm sorry it's not what he, the gentleman had planned, but, I've been through the same thing. Like, I was worried about Chef Craig, but he has so much different food than we do. So everybody in the food in town is okay, because we're all doing different things. A liquor store is the same thing. They would have the same thing Renee has. There wouldn't be no difference. So, and I think Renee's done a really good job for the town and what she's done. And we go through a lot with not employees. Well, who works? We do, so that's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Okay, thanks Denise.
Yeah.
Okay, this will be taken up later on in the meeting. And what is it? Item number 13 on the agenda. I think there might be some agendas up there yet, but, so there's a few things we have to get through first. All right, is there anyone else who wishes to speak to the council at this time? Hearing none, we will move on. No announcements that I'm aware of. Communications, Leading Sibley Together, it was in your packet that Leading Sibley Together is having a coffee hour at Hans, I guess you'd call it a restaurant, Hans in Winthrop on May 20th at 7 a.m. And if you're interested in Leading Sibley Together, which is a networking group of Sibley County residents, that would be a good place to learn about it. So, is there anything else under communications that anyone is aware of? I am not aware of anything other than what's on the agenda. Moving on to item 9, reports. Report from People Services, Lee Ortla. Good evening, Lee.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Council, Ross. Upon the last AGI meeting, it was we talked about and approved getting quotes for doing a rehab project on the main lift station in Green Isle. I've attained 2 quotes for that. Quality Flow is the lower of the 2 quotes. They're the same ones that we did the lift station at the school the other year. And this one's a little more than that. It's pretty much the same as what we did there, but we're going to do some work on the generator. There's no automatic transfer switch on that generator. Power goes out, somebody's going to have to get over there and get it going, or you're going to have a sewer backup. And it's feasible, we can do that. If you've ever been by there, there's that big cord hanging out there all the time. I'm always afraid that's going to disappear. So we're going to make a short cord and come around the back with it. Yeah. Yeah, it's all in the gate. And rehabbing the pipe, replacing the pipe and the rails in there. They're getting pretty crusty and rusty in there. And if you're gonna do everything else, you might as well do that. So that's what added the extra cost to it than what we had on before. And this was already approved through the AGI meeting, and it is part of the budget. We discussed of it out of 603. And it's already been, I've been through the Green Isle Council meeting, they've already approved it. So asking for approval so we can go ahead, get it going, order parts. We won't see anything from the end of summer with it, fall, behind, the panel has to be built, assembled, and then the install, so. And this is a turnkey thing. Once it's done, it's done.
Okay.
Everything's included in it. There's no, extra or anything. Shows how everything works, and we'll get the O&M manuals on it, and should be all ready to go.
Okay, does anyone have questions for Lee?
I'll make a motion to approve the bid from Quality Flow, $31,358 for rehab of Green Island Station.
Motion by Councilmember Batchor, second by Councilmember Sharpie to approve the bid from Quality Flow to rehab the Green Isle Main Lift Station in the amount of $81,358. 81,300, I think the numbers got transposed.
81,358.
Okay, must have found it somewhere else. 81,358, all right. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion is carried. Okay.
Second item of business I had was chlorine injector heads for at the water treatment plant. This is an item that was budgeted for last year. It's a few dollars more, just price went up from last year. It's kind of a specialty item. This one's from, it's a direct replacement for what is in there. This is from Vesco, it's just replacing the heads. If you go with another system, you gotta replace, cause they got different switching valves and all that. And this just replaces what is in there, and then when it, time to do the water treatment plant upgrade, they'll probably just add on the rest of the equipment. We won't have to replace this then. So, just looking for approval for it to get it replaced. We're down to one head is broke, and we're just down to the one head, and, you know, if that goes, then we're taking parts off of somewhere else where we shouldn't have it go.
How long do they last?
10, 15 years. You can keep rebuilding them. They're made out of plastic, and eventually the plastic gets kind of brittled and warped, and they're to that point. As far as I know, the last date I seen on them was 2002. So,
Lee, how much is freight?
they're in Eden Prairie. I was just gonna go get them.
You're gonna go get them?
Yeah, they have that's a stock item. They had them on shelf. So,
Yeah, 'cause freight's not included, that's why. I was
yeah,
asking.
that's what I said.
You're gonna go
I'll
get
just,
that?
yeah,
Okay.
just cheaper to go get them.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, then we have them. So,
I make a motion to approve the quote from Vesco Inc. for the vacuum regulator set for $48.13 and 20 cents.
Second.
Is that Thomas?
Yep.
Motion by Councilmember Batchor, second by Councilmember Thomas to approve the quote from Vesco Inc. for vacuum regulator set in the amount of $4,813.20. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you, Lee.
yep, that's all I got. Just
Appreciate it.
update on well 3,
Yep.
all the parts are in, just
Yep.
waiting for them to do it. So, they're busy working on, they do a lot of, agricultural, the big rotating sprinkler stuff with irrigation wells.
Yeah.
And now that the ground's all getting in, and they'll be here and put it in, so.
Okay.
Everything's ready to get put back together, so. That's about all I got.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thanks.
Police Department, Chief Konechny. Good evening.
Oh, good evening. Thanks for having me again. It's always a pleasure. What can I tell you? April, we had 128 calls for service compared to last month, which was 128. I told the guys, let's not overextend ourselves here. Let's just stop right there. So, it might surprise you. You never know. Still, we're still kind of comparing numbers with last year. April last year, this time it was 294, and I think that had something to do with,
Park cap.
kind of like the supplementary ICRs that they were plugging in there and stuff. Plus today we're still dealing with I think some COVID stuff here yet too. But summer looks poised to maybe fire up again here a little bit. On the recorded ICRs, you'll see there we have ordinance violations. We did 22 of those last month. I had gone around and just identified some properties that were probably in violation of like outdoor storage, nuisance properties, vehicles, unregistered vehicles and that kind of stuff. So that's what those ordinance violations were. Those people were sent a letter, and we're just gonna follow up with them, keep working with them, just see if we can get the yards cleaned up and fix any major violations that we have there. So that's what those are. Other than that, I'm happy to report no serious crimes, no burglaries. The thefts that are in there are fairly minimal for the most part. So otherwise, it's been a good month. Also, just want to touch on a couple weeks ago there was a little school issues that was going on there. We had been in contact with Jeremy and Randy, and we've been in close contact to find out what's going on there. And it looks like among the students, there's an often a campaign of disinformation or completely wrong information that sometimes kids react to or they don't react to. So on last Friday, not this previous Friday, the Friday before, was it? Okay. Myself, Sheriff Nienaber, one of his deputies, and Nate, and a couple other, we made a strong presence at the school and spent most of our time walking around handing out junior police officer stickers. So I made everybody I found a junior police officer, so I'm thinking maybe that'll just cure the problem. So, but I was happy to, I was happy to report there wasn't any problems. There hasn't been any residual effects at the most part yet. I still keep in contact with Jeremy. Some of the problem areas have been pushed off into other areas for the rest of the school year. So just a situation we're still monitoring, working closely with the school and just doing what we can to keep things safe over there. So, yep. Any questions? Thank you. This is Nate's probably starting his third week. His FTO is going really well. He's feeling pretty confident. We're just I got the schedule out until about the end of June. We're just gonna see how he feels. If he feels like he's ready to go, we'll put him in the schedule there. I'm also anticipating the possibility that Bailey might be coming back. So by June 1st, we could have a completely full functioning real police department. So, hey, that would be all right, huh? So. Thank you.
Chief, the sign you move around town for speed, where's that, are you still doing that, or I haven't seen it
Yes.
lately?
Yes, I just broke it out here a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
It was up down at the park. What park is that? Down there behind the cabinet maker, Frenzel Park.
Oh,
Had
yeah.
it over at Frenzel Park for a while because
yeah.
of,
There was some complaints on
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Baker.
And I've had it back at the office charging up, and I'm gonna deploy it somewhere to a location that is yet to be determined. So, if you have any suggestions, feel free to email me.
County Road 17,
Yes, yes, right next to my house.
right next to your house.
Because I don't need a sign to tell me that some of those cars are going fast.
They ain't worry 'cause you ain't home.
No, that's what I do anyway. I just sit up at night and watch things. That's what I'm supposed to do anyway. So.
All right,
Thank you very much.
thank you, Chief. All right, moving on to the April expense and revenue report. With, what, a third of the year gone, we should be at 33% or below on these items. Yeah, we're below all the way through on, yeah, so unless someone has specific areas that they want a question answered that I couldn't answer anyhow.
How come we're not spending the money? I'm happy to see it.
Okay,
Don't worry, we'll make up for it somewhere else.
it'll catch up, yeah. Any questions on the financial? All right. We will move on. Resolution 29-2021, a resolution approving a facade improvement loan to Jacob Benke, I'm gonna pronounce it, for his building located on 407 West Main Street. The building you're familiar with would be Sheer Design and Who's On First, that building, which is a rental property by Mr. Benke.
When I was looking at the quote, it said, I think I saw something in there about repair. So was it like damage from wind, or was it the new sign that was put up for?
No, it wasn't with the new sign. I think there was something in there with the roof and, what else, Matt?
Yeah, roof was part of it. He's gonna do the roof, and then the front of it, he's gonna do some work on the fascia and all that, so. It might have repair, but it's not really, it's, you can basically fix it and all that. Yeah, fascia stuff.
Yeah. Some,
Well, you know, it had me thinking about, okay, does the individual have an insurance claim, and then are they then,
No,
you know what I mean, so.
no.
I think they're getting maybe double, or if it was like storm damage.
okay, other questions? If not, would someone wish to introduce a resolution?
I'll introduce resolution 29-2021, approving the facade improvement loan to Jacobs
Second.
Resolution 29-21, introduced by Councilmember Batchor, second by Councilmember Morgan. It is a resolution approving a facade improvement loan to Jacob Benke for his building located at 407 West Main Street. Is there any further discussion, any questions? Hearing none, vote by roll call. Councilmember Sharpie.
Yes.
Councilmember Buss.
Yes.
Councilmember Thomas.
Yes.
Councilmember Morgan.
Yes.
Councilmember Batchor.
Yes.
5 votes in favor, none against. The resolution is adopted. Resolution 30-2021, a resolution accepting a donation designating its use, this being a donation of $100 from ABCD Whaler for the city cemetery fund.
I'll introduce resolution 30-2021, a resolution accepting the donation of from ABCD Whaler to use cemetery fund.
Second.
Resolution 30-2021, introduced by Councilmember Sharpie, second by Councilmember Batchor. That is a resolution accepting a donation and designating its use. The donation is from ABCD Whaler, and it is for, in the amount of $100, and it goes towards the city cemetery fund. Vote by roll call. Councilmember Morgan.
Yes.
Councilmember Batchor.
Yes.
Councilmember Sharpie.
Yes.
Councilmember Thomas.
Yes.
Councilmember Buss.
Yes.
5 votes in favor, none opposed, the resolution is adopted. Right, moving on to item 12, I believe, yes. Item 12, consider IT services. You've been sent the information, we discussed this quite a bit at the last workshop, I believe it was, or the previous workshop. I think City Administrator Newsom made it clear that she is definitely supporting that we would choose corporate technologies. They've been working with corporate technologies and feels very comfortable with the job they're doing, and so, but it's open for discussion.
My thought on this is, I like corporate technologies as far as what they're doing, they're making everything work, making sure that everything's configured correctly. That's the problem that we were having. As soon as things are configured correctly across the network, it should be stable. And I don't feel that we should be paying monthly for a contract for when something pops up every 3 years, 4 years, and we get some computers, or whatever, isn't gonna cost us that much, in my opinion, so.
The problem I see, okay, so we get them to fix everything, get it all working the way we want it to. We run into issues now where things aren't working, that nobody knew about. Putting, some of this stuff, and they're getting them fixed. So who's gonna monitor to make sure the stuff keeps working?
So what happened is when we hired the install, it was done by,
Right.
someone other than, and did not get, configured correctly. So once things are configured correctly, the only thing that you're gonna have to do is do updates probably once every other month or something like that on them. You're gonna have to support people, users, right, that we have maybe like 10, 15 users, 20, something like that in the city. When things are running smooth, it's not gonna, we're not gonna be spending that kind of money. And if we do have to pay whatever it is, their hourly rate, we're still gonna be ahead at the end of the year, in my opinion.
So your proposal would be that we're going to just pay them an hourly rate, not have any contract?
That would be my suggestion.
And do we know what that rate is?
I think Amy had it somewhere. We've been paying it for them fixing. Is it $175?
You know,
Or
I
is that way too much?
don't know what the hourly rate is.
I think we talked about it at workshop, on plans of per hour versus contract.
Right. I mean,
Is there a reason why Amy thinks that we need to obtain their services for $900 or $550 a month?
I think Amy likes that company because they have really good customer service and they're getting things configured correctly so that it works.
Well, right, but you gotta configure it correctly, but who's taking care of the malware and all the other things that are gonna pop up?
Right.
You know?
A lot of that stuff is automated with firewalls and stuff like that once they get configured. Well,
We have a full IT staff at work, and it's not, you still get infections, you still get.
Same with us. I would be in favor of going this route. I don't like not, especially with everything that's on there, all the information throughout the city that, if we don't have somebody monitoring this stuff, I mean, I have two IT guys that monitor everything up every day. And to me, it just makes sense to keep this as secure as possible and
I would agree
monitor.
with that. I would agree.
So,
Whether it be for the $900 a month or $550 a month with corporate technologies, I believe, not having some kind of monitoring system and professionals taking care of the technologies that we're using has gotten us where we're at right now.
So my understanding is the 550 basically covers us monthly. The 900 gets them to come to the site for a few hours.
If
you know,
needed,
If
yeah.
needed,
Yes.
so, I mean, if we did do the 550, if we needed them, then it would be the, 75, or, well, that's a different. But it would just be an hourly rate on.
hourly rate, anything over the 500, 550,
One
right?
would think they really should be able to do just about everything remotely.
Yeah.
I think so too.
She also said that, PCM.
What's that?
They have been doing it remotely, they've been helping me, all remotely, so.
Right, but they're still gonna charge you.
Well, right, no, I'm not sure.
Whether they come here or charge you it
Well, they
remotely.
made it sound.
Whether you do it remotely or come here directly, I think was different, but let me see if I can find that one.
Well, when we were on the call, I guess they made it seem like it was a difference because of the trip charge.
They were gonna charge you more for mileage to come here.
Oh, sure, they would, yeah.
And they can do the same amount of damage from Pensacola to Ford as what they can from East Prairie.
$125 an hour. Amy also said that PCM, there's a bunch of businesses in town that are using, him. And she also liked him, or heard good things about him from
Yep.
businesses in
Right.
town.
Mhm.
And there too, that's gonna be a substantial savings or whatever too for the.
Right,
for the
but
city.
that's just as needed basis. We still aren't addressing the issue of monitoring the system and making sure it's working properly. I mean, for a local business, they don't really need that 24/7 monitoring or even whatever, but I still think the city itself needs that monitoring. With as many things as we got going on.
Anyone wish to make a motion?
Well, I'd make a motion to go with the corporate technology option to handle our IT service.
Which option are we?
As much as I'd like to do the $900 a month option, I'm not sure how much, would justify it. I know Amy wanted to, I talked to Amy about it, she liked that option, but I don't know if it's gonna cost us more in the long run or not.
I think if you did it for a year, you'd have some data that would show.
Yeah, we at least have an option to
Do a one.
We could-
one-year contract or readdress it. So I'd make the motion for the $550 a month option.
I'll second it.
Motion by Councilmember Sharpie, second by Councilmember Thomas to go with the $550 a month option through corporate technologies. Did you want to put in there for 1 year,
Reassess it for what?
Okay.
See what we're at and then reassess it next year, see what we're gonna need.
1 year duration? Okay. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no.
No.
4 votes in favor, 1 opposed. The motion is carried. All right, item 13, approve, deny off-sale liquor permit for Fill Me Up located at 512 Second Avenue Northwest. Open for discussion.
So, obviously the permit was filled out. So is the permit, does it meet the criteria to be approved in the state that it is?
As it currently stands, planning wise, I am waiting to see how we address the liquor licensing. From what they have presented to me, it does seem so. However, I would need clearer drawings just to see how they're going to situate everything. And from what, pretty much from what I've come to before I could make that next step, we would need to see about the licensing, because based off pretty much statutes and everything, zoning wise, we can't do anything without the licensing being approved. But from what they presented to me, it does seem like that. However, based on the drawings they presented, I have some questions, and I can't address those until the licensing has been approved. If that makes sense.
Ross, does everything fall in line at the state one like us? Maybe Silver Bone Bill, right?
Yeah, I mean, you know, we heard some basic comments from, you know, another community, which isn't our community, so I'm trying to figure out, way our statute and everything is written, can we have a liquor store there?
Well, regarding the state, the procedure is if the council approves a license, it then has to go up to the state liquor control to also approve. And we've made initial contacts with them regarding the applicant's physical plan for the building. And that's important because state statute only allows certain sale items within the confines of a liquor licensee. And as I understand it, the plan is no convenience foods, just liquor and tobacco and soft drink products, which is allowed. But as I understand, the applicant also wants to continue to sell gas at that location, and that created the question as to how that could be compartmentalized. And my understanding, the most recent feedback from the state was that there had to be a separate, you know, kiosk or some little area where the gas charges could be processed, and that has to be walled off, you know, separately from the liquor establishment. So I think there's an understanding that the state has presented, you know, as far as how it has to be physically laid out. Going back to Philip's comment, if the city decides to go forward with a liquor license, there is a zoning issue that has to be addressed. This establishment is currently in a B1 service district, which basically is along the highway. And off-sale liquor is not allowed in that zone. Off-sale liquor is allowed in the B2 Central Business District, which is basically Main Street. So there would have to be a follow-up application for a zoning change in order to accommodate that under our current zoning law.
Right. Yes, it would have to be rezoned, and it would have to go through that process for that.
So is that normally, so if that process hypothetically were to take out, does that I mean, would that just encompass one building, or would it have to be, you know, broader than just one?
You can't spot zone.
Yeah,
right?
that's what I'm trying to get at, so I mean, like,
Bowling alley and-
now all of a sudden, you're trying to take in the motel, or the community center, or the restaurant across the street, or the, I don't think we're gonna get the high school into it, but.
No, I mean, if you look at the comprehensive plan too, it talks about that zone as well, you know, it's like a gateway and where you're driving through, the vision that it has in it, for what it sees, so I think you know, if we're gonna run down that road, there's a lot more
It opens
than
up,
just one or two pieces.
yeah, it opens up a lot of, I would say on a zoning level, it would open up doors that could cause us issues. Like I said, I can't specify what issues they would be, but based off what the mapping and everything is, one of the major issues probably that would definitely happen would be spot zoning, is that we would have to change the whole district, and that would encompass a lot of things that aren't necessarily permitted in that new district. I mean, granted, they would most likely, I would have to double check this, but I would assume, and Josh, you can confirm this, they would probably be grandfathered in since they're already there. But that might cause other issues down the line if they wanted to do other work or things like that, correct? Or is my thinking on?
Grandfathered for,
Like the other businesses, because in that district. you would
oh,
have-
yes, yeah. It wouldn't necessarily create a conflict with other existing businesses. But I guess it'd be a question if someone wanted to change a use under this, you know, a different zone.
Right.
It could create some issues with other businesses along that strip.
Right, and it also would, the comprehensive plan too, given the way that is, there would have to be extensive changes to how we would address zoning in the future development if we do decide to rezone that. Well, if the rezoning would, because the rezoning would have to happen, so if this would be approved and everything, so that we would have to address that in the plan, and then we would have to change things from there. So those are what issues would be, as I see right now, but like I said, there could be other issues that could happen.
Regarding the comprehensive plan, as the council's aware, the B2 Central Business District Zone was designed in our comprehensive plan to attempt, if at all possible, to keep our Main Street viable and to concentrate, you know, service businesses in that Main Street strip.
I guess I would vote not in favor of the off-sale liquor license. We already have 3 in town, like Denise talked about. 35 years ago, we had 1. We maybe have 200 more people in town. So, to me, I would like to see us keep 3, especially Mrs. Doe's. I mean, that's her bread and butter. And I have a gut feeling if we would allow another business to come into town and sell off liquor license, that would pretty much put the nail in the coffin on that one. And I myself cannot do that to a community member.
Yeah, I would agree with that, plus looking at all the other issues that this brings up, that it ain't worth it. So, I guess I would make the motion to deny the off-sale liquor license permit, if that doesn't that.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Sharpie, second by Councilmember Batchor to deny the off-sale liquor permit to Fill Me Up located at 512 Second Avenue Northwest. Further discussion?
Well, so I consider myself a capitalist, you know, basically, which, you know, I see that, you know, government shouldn't impede on businesses and development. This one has some complicated stuff to it that kind of leads me to kind of just stay away from it. You know, if it wasn't for the rezoning and all this other stuff, you know, typically in capitalism, you know, competitiveness is what leads it. Now, I understand there's people that have businesses in the area and have been there for a long time, but really in a capitalist society, you know, competition is what leads. You know, some people make it, some people don't. That's kind of the way America is. And government, you know, blocking someone else's business to come in because, you know, of one that's there. I know it's maybe not the best scenario, but, you know, for the one that's there, but that's kind of what's made America, from my opinion. Because of the rezoning, you know, that really, you know, it kind of goes against what the city's been trying to go for. So I mean, I was prepared to abstain, but I just wanted to share kind of where I was coming from with it.
And Joe, I actually feel the same way that, I mean, I think there's some complications here as well, but I do agree that, I mean, competition is always good. I mean, I grew up in this community, we had a hardware store here, and there was one time there was 3 hardware stores in town. You know, who'd ever think this town could support that? But I do believe, you know, that competition is good and
Yeah, if I want to go to the area and start a business and I can't because it's already got this, you know,
because
ingrained root, so either I've got to do something different to make my business work and thrive, or I'm going to take my business elsewhere because, you know, that town won't let me in. So I think that's something we've got to be cognizant of.
Right, because then you're also gonna shoo away potential new business.
I would agree with you both. The way I look at it though is their reasoning for wanting to do this was created by themselves, by purchasing 2 gas stations at the same time.
And I don't disagree with
Yeah,
you.
so now they're just trying to figure out what to do, you know.
But that's on
with this
them.
one.
If
That's
they
on
want to
them.
throw 300,000-400,000 into it, that's their money. They
Right.
go spend their money how they want to. I'm not here to tell them how to spend their money. People will decide if they want to buy liquor there,
Right.
if we were to move forward with it. Now, this zoning thing, it really kind of puts a, I mean, you got to jump through hoops in order to go and do that, and then we're going away from where we said we want business on Main Street. So that's
Well, you're
It's kind of
talking
the day.
public hearing, you're talking about,
Yeah,
you know, and the comprehensive plan that you mentioned. And I guess that's where I stand. I'm for business coming to town, I think it's good to grow, and I think we can support. But that location just isn't in line.
Further discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor of denying the liquor license, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries, the license is denied.
just put me down for abstaining.
You can abstain.
You can,
You have to vote.
you voted.
You have to vote one way or another. You can only abstain if it's a conflict of interest. That's still not a conflict of interest. It doesn't benefit you personally.
No, I mean, it's really, honestly, for me, it goes back to my personal values, but it's kind of.
Right, but as you said, the zoning issue is gonna
No,
create
no,
more
that's
problems,
not-
I think, and that's more, it's not, I mean, they're more than welcome to go buy Renee's.
Well, honestly, if it were me, I'd be like, hey, I wanna buy your product. You know, and then I'm gonna put it in there. But, you know, this zoning thing, it's a big hurdle.
Okay, let's move along. I do want to compliment the council on the discussion, though. There was very good points made, and both sides of the coin were exposed, so appreciate that. Let's move on to item 14, approve or deny chip sealing bid from Aztec in the amount of $36,897.74.
Kirby, these guys good? You used them before?
I haven't used them, I've heard good things, I checked with the county, for you guys kind of county, and that's who they were using. And
Okay.
I have a suspicion we got a nice bid because of that, because they're gonna be in town already.
Okay, good.
I think they'll do just fine.
Good.
Pearson has never done us wrong either, they've done a pretty good job, but, I'm trying to get a lot of work done this year. And,
Yep.
Aztec isn't exactly the local company, this isn't really their territory, so to speak, but,
Well, that's
I
why I
think we
asked
gotta
about
go with-
recommendations.
I would recommend Aztec, yeah, based on wanting to get some extra kind of work done this year. They'll be
Wait.
fine.
I'll make a motion to approve chip sealing bid from Aztec in the amount of 36,897 and 74 cents.
I'll second.
Is that Sharpie?
Bus.
Oh, Bus. Motion by Councilmember Batchor, second by Councilmember Bus to approve the chip sealing bid from Aztec in the amount of $36,897.74. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carried. Item 15, approve denial seal coating bid for cemetery and community center from MR Paving in the amount of $13,125.68. Kirby?
Well, I missed my chance at the beginning, I think I was in the hallway during when I need to make a change
Oh, that was
to
the
the
change?
agenda. I had sent Amy my Excel spreadsheet of what I had, and I had cemetery and community center lots separate. And she added MR paving, but maybe forgot bargain. So bargain was 14,582.
Bargain's in there for 15,996.
No, they're in there for 5,000.
I've got five.
That's what I mean, 5,996.
So that was for the cemetery. I think she missed the community center adding that together. I just should have had that together.
And
anyways.
so can you give us the numbers?
For bargain?
It was 14,000 something, right?
For the two together.
For bargain, it was 14,582 for both. The reason I did that, I wanted to see, you guys can see how much was coming out of community center, how much cemetery.
Okay. Okay, so MR paving is correct at $13,125.68.
Correct, yep,
Bargain should be $14,582.
correct.
Okay.
That is so weird, because, well, I suppose they're in town for another thing too. Or maybe. I'll make a motion to approve seal coating,
I'm now confused here, cause, so you got, which ones were you combining for the 14 that he was saying?
cemetery and community
That was
center.
bargain, cemetery bid, and community center bid.
Okay, for 14,
Yeah,
okay,
that was the total for that.
okay,
Okay.
but,
Yeah, so there's a bunch of projects that are split up, so it looks
I
like a
did it
bunch of
for
different projects.
itemization. It's more from between me and Lisa and Amy, I guess.
These are all chipped too with the seal?
No, it's oil emulsion. I mean, it's been chip sealed, but you don't get, it's not necessary, you don't get the traffic.
right,
You wind up sweeping up and losing so much of it. They can't get the corners, we got islands, we got
Yeah.
that emulsion stuff, they can get curb to curb and.
bargain does good,
cover everything.
we did have them do our
Yeah,
parking lot.
they use a good product. It's oil-based, which I prefer because it lasts. You get water-based stuff, it's cheaper, but it dries out your asphalt.
Is this the stuff with soybeans in it?
No, this is, not that.
But you recommended MR paving for the job,
Right,
They're cheaper.
but
They use the
are they
same
the same
product.
product?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
I'll make a motion to approve seal coating and cemetery and community center from MR paving for 13,125.68.
second.
Motion by Councilmember Batchor, second by Councilmember Thomas to approve the seal coating bid for a cemetery and community center parking lot from MR Paving in the amount of $13,125.68. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carried. Item 16, approve, deny infrared patching bid from Bargain in the amount of $24,680.
I'll make a motion to approve and patching from bargain in the amount of 24,680.
there a second?
Second.
Can you explain that process a little bit, what that,
Sure. So what that deals with is, well, they have two different templates they use. It's either 5x7 or 2x12 size patches they do. And it's mainly used for roads that are, it's a cheaper option than hot patching. And it's more of a get you by for 5, 6, 7 years. They actually can heat up the asphalt.
okay,
Usually take out the top inch layer, which is bad. It's lost everything.
mm-hmm,
They can reuse the bottom base and then pour in new asphalt up top. And you mainly do that where you got bad spider cracking and a lot of edging that's,
flaking off?
just a lot of, right,
Yeah.
there's a descaling, they call it sometimes.
Yeah,
Kinda useful for that. We got some roads that are, you'll look to patch it, you don't know where to start or stop.
mm-hmm,
So, I thought, I'd like to try this, I've never tried it. Seems to hold up, they've been doing it for quite a while. And, eventually these roads are probably gonna need to be overlaid or something like that, but
yeah.
just to keep it from really crumbling, I think this is something we should do right now.
Okay. Motion by Councilmember Batchor, second by Member Morgan to accept the bid of Bargain at $24,680 for the infrared patching. More discussion. Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carried. Item 17, approve deny gap mastic bid from Bargain in the amount of $36,423. Do you want to explain that one a little bit?
Sure. It's basically, it's a crack fill for cracks that are too big to be traditionally crack filled. We got spots where, I'm happy I came across this mastic, because we have spots where there's such big wide cracks and they just kind of keep sinking when you get this big hoop in the road, right? A lot of these cracks run curb to curb. East Elmwood is a good example of it, and you ever drive down there, and I guess wherever
Oh,
else you
yeah.
look at it, but you can't crack fill them anymore, and I hate to hot patch them, because that's expensive. It just doesn't really make sense, so I think this is, you see a lot on highways, state highways and stuff like that, but
To be happy with this, cause
yeah, I'm excited I figured this out.
they filled in about a foot trench.
Yeah.
We have the sewer and it's held up to semi-traffic.
Pretty much what's in Winthrop. And on these roads I wanna do it on, it's like if you look at the road, the eye test tells you the road's in good shape. It just has these giant gaps in them, these big cracks. And, eventually those will start causing a lot of problems too, so hopefully this is a good answer for that.
On the new ones that we're trying, can we just somehow make sure we document the time or, the year and the area, so you can kind of follow that over time to see?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Especially if it's ones you haven't tried before,
Yeah.
it's keep an eye on. Report back to future councils as far as how it's.
Yeah, definitely.
All the crack filling, they've done all the crack filling down at USC and some of the stuff that they did. He could remember it, 10, 15 years ago,
Yeah.
and they're still in good shape.
I would think on residential roads, I made sure to ask about snow plowing, what that's gonna do. We use graders, he said that won't be a problem.
Won't be a problem, cause I ran a blade across what they do is they fill it in and then they'll overlay it a little bit with, and I don't even know, I can't remember what it's called. But yeah, it just, I had no issues with my blade when the Bobcat and I had, so. They do a really good job.
Okay, is there a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the bid, from Gat Mastic, in the amount of, bargain for the Gat Mastic for $36,423.
I'll second.
Motion by Councilmember Sharpie, second by Councilmember Bliss to approve the mastic a gap mastic bid from Bargain in the amount of $36,423. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Item 18, approve, deny crack filling bid from Bargain in the amount of $16,854.
Yep, so that would be traditional crack fill. They're doing that in our lots that were, we said our lots, cemetery, and then the roads that we're going to be chip sealing, which you wanna do before you want crack fill before you chip seal and, or any sealing, so that's what that is.
Now, did you say they'd be doing some crack filling in the cemetery, on the cemetery roads?
Yeah,
But yet we've got M&R paving coming in and doing work in there also, right? Do they coordinate that, or how do they?
oh yeah, well, yeah, I mean, I'm involved in making
Okay.
sure that everything is done in the right order.
All right,
Yeah.
all right.
So their seal bid didn't come with the crack fill?
I wanted that separately,
Oh,
no,
separate, okay.
yeah, you wanna do that separate.
Make a motion to approve crack filling bid from Bargain with amount of 16,854.
I'll second.
Motion by Councilmember Batchor, second by Councilmember Thomas, to approve the crack filling bid from Bargain in the amount of $16,854. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Item 19, approve or deny hot patch bid from MR Paving in the amount of $29,284.50. Okay. The one that threw me off on this was, there was a bid in there for the basketball
Right.
court, which is good to know for the future, I guess, but
I,
It's in really rough.
well, no, I'd like.
it
to
is
get
in
that-
tough shape, it
I'd like
really.
to get that done with this.
Yeah,
That's
okay,
included in
that is included?
So when I sent it, I sent him the same stuff, right? That's, they
Wow.
get the same thing from me, right? So it passes out, it's probably not necessary. But for my own mental notes, I put down itemized, like water breaks. We'll be pulling, this'll all be, the total isn't the total that's coming out of streets. Because we have wastewater plant
Plus some-
patches, we have some water break patches, comes out of stormwater
Right.
fund. And then the basketball court would come out of
Parks.
the parks. So
Okay.
I sent this to them and then they,
Would
what's
they
that?
tear that out, or would they just go over the top of it?
Oh, they gotta mill it out, yeah, or you get,
Yeah.
those cracks will just come right
Especially
back.
on the one closest,
Yeah.
those two courts, yeah, like nobody.
Yeah.
The one is okay, it'd be too much to do them all at once, so I'm doing the far one, the one by the nearest to the water tower
Oh.
first.
Well, the hoops are terrible, that's what I'm getting at, not just the floor, but anyway, another subject.
That's for park.
Another subject,
I
yeah,
know.
parks.
I saved it, cause I was like, well, I wanted them to see it. We're gonna do a tour, and I'm thinking, well, you just watch the kids, you'll observe where they play, they literally play on one, two.
Yeah.
But yeah, the backside is the worst.
Okay, so M&R paving at $29,284, that includes the basketball court.
It does.
Or
yeah.
part-
See,
or-
they just
but-
put everything together in their 3-inch hot patch and
Okay.
then itemized, and then
Did I understand you correctly, though, it doesn't include the entire basketball court, but just part of it?
it's basically
Like a fourth of it or half?
2/3 of one of them, one of the courts.
Okay,
It's just something had to be done now. Probably, I think. It's basically crumbling.
Would it make sense to do the whole thing?
Well, I kinda wondered honestly about just having one good one. You know, do you really?
Well, the other ones, I think fine, yeah. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's playable. I mean, if we want, we can hold it off, that's why I itemized it, so you guys can see that, and you can make the choice. Yeah, we have the option here to fix what's bad, and then to plan for the future, or we can put it all off and just plan for the future. So,
I almost feel like the parks should talk more
should talk more about it.
More about, it wasn't, you know, they
Yeah.
were planning on doing a tour coming up.
Okay.
And I was in South Dakota, not present, so I wasn't sharing too much, and I didn't wanna,
Sure.
I wanted people to see it, cause I mean, I think if you see it,
Yeah.
me personally, I don't know that we have the need for 2 full courts. Most people shoot on literally 1 hoop, which is the one closest to the park, cause it's the best.
Mhm.
The other ones are, I mean, even a good player probably can't make a hoop in it, but then, yeah, the asphalt is really bad, so as a city, do we really need 2 full, courts? I think one of them would have been tennis at first.
Well, it used to be
Years
tennis,
ago.
always, that's the
Or
only thing
both
that
of
was
them?
down there,
Was it all
was tennis, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what's on there is
Yeah.
tennis court.
I would almost think the volleyball, with our community, there's quite a few people who play volleyball, and that, like, if you shift gears and take that and move over here and put a volleyball court, to me would be better utilized, but.
I guess I would agree to see the Parks Board sort of weigh in on it and
Okay.
sort of take
Yeah.
the lead
I
on
just
what
thought
they
it would be-
feel.
I
Yeah,
guess
No, it definitely does,
it definitely needs something,
But
but,
yeah, at least we got a price now to see what we're dealing with. So we'll take that out. Take the back out.
and then give us a revised number.
Yeah, what would the bid come out to be? Hold on, I got that.
Yep,
Anybody got a calculator?
Yep.
You grab it first.
So the total is 29,284.
50. Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, and then we're minus 7,035.98.
98.
Yeah.
Make a break. 22,248.52.
$22,248.52. Okay, so that would be the amount of MR paving.
I'll make the motion to approve, hot patch bid from MR paving, in the amount of $22,248.32 minus the basketball courts.
52 cents.
52 cents, sorry.
Yep.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Batchor, second by Councilmember Morgan to approve the bid from MR Paving of $22,248.52. And that would be a hot patch bid, and it would not include basketball courts at Four Seasons Park.
I'd like to add that, we should bring that piece to the park board, that'll send it to the park board.
Yeah.
And maybe have them have a special meeting, so like they do quarterly meetings.
Yep. I think we'll just let council,
Yeah, I mean, if they wanted to do it, it would have to be
yeah,
while they're here.
I mean, if they wanna do something this year, yet it's not too big of a deal, we can line that up.
okay,
Be done up till,
okay.
you know, well, small.
All right, item 20, approve or deny request from Ross Arneson to close 2 blocks of Main Street.
We
And
didn't vote on that.
didn't we vote on that one? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, thank you very much. All in favor of that motion for the M&R paving bid at $22,248.52? Say aye. Opposed? There we go. Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kirby.
Does
Item
that- Does that take, like, the full budget for the year with all these, or?
Well, the CIP, like the street work, yes.
But it'll pull some out from probably some.
Everywhere.
Yeah, right, well, for the hot patch, it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
I'm trying to do as much as I can with cold patch, just some potholes. And you find out a lot through the summer, rainstorms and stuff, how bad it's gonna get. There might be some hot patching coming that if it's really, really big, some bad spots. Hopefully not too much. I mean, fire you to prove it. But, this'll take care of a lot of stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks.
Thanks, Kirby. All right, item 20, approve deny request from Ross Arneson to close 2 blocks of Main Street, 1 block of 4th Avenue for Masonic Lodge dedication on June 24th, from approximately 7 p.m. to approximately 7:15 p.m. I will turn it over to Ross for a little summation of that.
Thanks. Taking off my city attorney hat for the moment, I'm an officer of the Sibley Lodge 209, which has been based in Winthrop for over 100 years. The building over there was getting quite bad and needed a lot of renovation. And we always met on the second floor, very steep set of stairs. And a lot of the masons were getting up in age, couldn't come to meetings because they couldn't take the stairs. So there are a lot of reasons why we decided we had to find a new location. And Winthrop EDA actually offered us a building for free, but the problem was the building had been gutted and it would have taken quite a large expenditure to renovate it. So we started casting around, and this building in Arlington, which I always think of as the old dry cleaners building. It's right across the street from the bakery.
Red Owl Store is what I think of it as.
Sure, that was one of its many, many.
Yeah, built as that, I think, Red Owl
Yes.
Store.
And we were able to purchase it at a reasonable price, and it did require some substantial renovation, but I think it's gonna work out very well, and of course, it's all on one floor and city parking lots nearby, so I think that should work out very well for the membership. And as I mentioned in my cover letter, it's actually a return to Arlington. We had our own Masonic Lodge here through the late 50s, and I think it actually closed up in 1962. I don't know the reason why, but I think just kind of general, reduction in membership. At one time, I think in Minnesota, going back 50 years, there was like 75,000 Masons in the state, and now we're at about 20,000. And it's like any other organization, it seems like, society is such that, we just, don't have quite that enthusiasm for participation in organizations anymore. But Masons are the oldest and largest fraternity in the world, and they contribute on average $14 million a day around the world to charitable causes. Here in Minnesota, our biggest one was the Masonic Children's Hospital at University of Minnesota, which we committed to $65 million to put that together. And actually, that was a dedication ceremony that I attended here a few years ago. Masons are very steeped in tradition, and it's important to the organization. And in order to dedicate a new lodge hall, we have to have a procession. And the Grand Master comes down, that's what we call the state president, and about 20 state officers. And then they lead a procession from somewhere to the new lodge hall. And here, what seemed to work was we would gather at the lobby of the Arlington State Bank and proceed down Main Street 2 blocks to the new lodge hall. And as I mentioned, we were requesting that that area be closed down to vehicle traffic for as long as it takes the brothers to walk or hobble or skip those 2 blocks. So I'm guessing 15 minutes, maybe.
Is the public allowed to watch this?
Yes, yes. And in fact, I was going to send a formal request out to the mayor, if he'd be kind enough to make a few comments. It's a Thursday night, Thursday, June 24th at 7 p.m. So a lot of the Main Street businesses would be, closed at that time of the evening. So that's what it's all about.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, the last paragraph of my memo, we need to update. When I drafted this, we were still under coronavirus restrictions, so we're gonna have to limit it to just Masons, but that's been lifted now. So it is gonna be a public event.
Okay.
Is that something that you maybe want the city puts on public events, right? On their Facebook page?
Oh,
Yeah, we could
Sure.
talk to any city something you would want.
Or do the Masons have a Facebook page?
We can do both.
You could do both.
The state does, we don't
State
have
does.
locally.
Okay. Okay,
So I assume with the building, then there'll be like monthly or quarterly meetings that people get together for this?
One business meeting a month, and quite often we have a workshop or something on a second day of the month. Our fellowship hall, as opposed to the official meeting hall, the fellowship hall is big enough for, we're thinking we might be, opening it up for certain small community gatherings, like, a small, anniversary party or something. I don't know, that's just a vague theory at this point.
yeah.
But it's not a real big space.
Make a motion to approve the request from Ross, close 2 blocks of Main Street and 1 block 4th Avenue for the Masonic Lodge dedication June 24th from 7 until they're done proceeding.
Second.
Is that Sharpie?
Yes.
Motion by Councilmember Batchor, second by Councilmember Sharpie to approve the request from Ross Arneson on behalf of the Masonic Lodge for the dedication ceremony, and there'd be a closing down of 2 blocks of Main Street and 1 block of 4th Avenue. Oh, yes, 4th Avenue, on June 24th, 7 PM to approximately 7:15. Any questions, discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carried.
On behalf of the lodge, thank you.
Item 21, approve or deny engineering scope and fee for design and bidding of water treatment facility rehab. Open for discussion.
I think with the flat fee, then you can avoid, oh, well, this took longer than what we thought. And they're showing it at a lesser number now, unless they say, well, that wasn't part of the scope. Then, they can potentially go up,
I like being billed for what we use. What if that's an approximate, but I don't know. You play the safe bet, or you play the bet, are they gonna be?
Say, well, it took this many hours, 'cause I don't know what it's done.
Well, I know, right, that too, so, you said it out loud, I did not.
Well, basically, they just give a discount to go the flat rate route, 3%, I
Are they
believe.
making both of them are making estimates?
Yes,
One
yes,
is just
both of them.
sealing it in, it's fake.
Right.
It's 170,000, or they're saying, well, this is what we estimate the hours, so.
Mm-hmm.
They will not lose money.
Yeah. It'd be nice if it was a not to exceed. But, if we could stipulate that, not to exceed 170.
Well, I mean, that's what it is, right, at a flat
I think
cost,
that's what it is.
170.
No, I know, but hourly, not to exceed 170.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, hourly.
Less.
Right, yeah, why isn't that in there? Is that typical, Russ? I don't think I've seen that before. That engineering piece.
The which piece?
Well, how they worded this. The scope fee and design and billing us for that.
Some of the contractors I work with, I get them to go into the not exceed. And sometimes it's a little bit less, but, we normally estimate what we think it's gonna cost, and then, if you can get them to do that, then it's gonna be that or less.
They do have, it is not to exceed, or not to exceed a fixed rate of 170. It's in there. So it is,
I didn't bring mine along, sorry.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, no, so that flat rate says 170,
not to exceed 170, yep.
to me, that reads, it's 170, or you can gamble and do the hourly.
No, it
No.
should be, if it comes in less,
Then,
right,
yep,
then it should be billed less.
Maybe it just wasn't interpreted, wording wise, on the agenda.
Well, it says,
Yeah, so
a
it's
cost saving
Yeah.
not to
If we
exceed.
added not to exceed. I'll
Well,
make a
it does
motion
say it in the,
for the 170 not to exceed.
okay.
it does say it in there, not on here, but in.
Yeah.
Okay, is there a second? Motion by Councilmember Morgan, second by Councilmember Thomas, to accept the scope and design, engineering scope and design fee for design and bidding of water treatment facility rehab at the option of a build rate at flat rate not to exceed $170,000. Further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Okay, approve, deny landowner permission from Sibley County Drift Dodgers. Finally, we get to you.
Yeah, I was wondering, I wasn't sure.
He's really interested, leave him alone, Please introduce yourself.
I am Brandon Ronning. I'm the president of the Sibley County Drift Dodgers Snowmobile Club, covering all the trails in Sibley County. Well, almost all of them. Yeah, and we are auditing our records because we're under a DNR audit this year and making sure we have all of our landowner permission slips. And I did not find one from the city of Arlington, so I'm asking to get one. There may have been one 25, 30 years ago. I don't know. They go indefinite, but we want to make sure that we do indeed have one.
Okay. And what is the duration of the landowner permission? I mean, how long does it? Is it just
It's indefinite once it's
indefinite?
signed.
Okay,
Yeah, you
All
just
right.
have to give notice if you want to terminate it,
okay.
or the sale of the land. I don't think the city is gonna sell any land, so.
And,
Well, you never know.
Yeah, streets, I mean, it's one street.
so which street is it that?
Sheila Drive right out here.
Oh, okay,
So the only part that actually goes on city land is Sheila Drive from 5 here to the field behind
okay,
the DAC.
Yep, yep.
So,
good.
We'll make a motion to approve, landowner permission from the Sibley County Drift Dodgers.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Batchor, second by Councilmember Sharpie to approve the landowner permission form for Sibley County Drift Dodgers. Is there further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried.
Just for the council's information, you actually have a route along Highway 5, but that's state highway right of way.
State right away.
And then, yeah,
And we used to cross the nickel crossing, which, we're not gonna cross that anymore.
Okay. Okay, all right.
Who's gonna sign the form?
Who's,
Mr. Mayor.
I can, sure.
You wanna sign it now, or?
Yeah, if you have the form, bring it here. You gotta sit through the next meeting too.
There you go.
Right there, I take it, yep. And it's 5:17. There we are.
We just need to date the time.
Sure.
All right,
There we are.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now I can-
Alright.
Item 23, a discussion on the sidewalk rehab repair that was discussed at a couple of workshops now. So just to refresh your memory, what we're looking for here by the city administrator is 2 votes. 1 to allow the administrator to follow the city code and send out letters to properties identified by Kirby on the map as having less than desirable or less than safe sidewalks. And then item 2 would be a vote to approve the low bid from CMC for the concrete work. The first question was to allow Administrator Newsom to follow the city code and send out the letters to the property owners identified on the map drawn by Kirby.
I'd make a motion to have Amy send out letters to the property owners with the affected sidewalks, as a notice to repair or replace.
Okay,
Second.
By going up an updated map from Kirby.
yeah, yeah, he was aware of what we were,
Yeah, and just trying to make sure that, because if she maybe reads it not being here, it might be like the map that we had.
No, updated.
right, updated map, yep.
Just like
Mhm.
what you read.
Yep. Okay, Councilmember Buss made the motion, second by Councilmember Thomas, to approve or to direct the city administrator to follow city code and send out letters to properties identified by an updated map that was put together by Street Superintendent Weckworth. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carried. Second question then would be to approve the low bid from CMC in the amount of, help me someone if you have it in front of you.
Would be not to exceed that.
That'd be not to exceed, that's right. Does someone have the dollar amount?
2088, so 20,880.
I'll make a motion to approve the
20,880? 20,880,
not to exceed.
not to exceed. Is there a second?
I can second it.
Who made the motion? I'm sorry. Oh, you did, Joe, okay. And then Thomas. Yeah. You can't make a motion and second it too. Motion by Councilmember Morgan, second by Councilmember Thomas to accept the low bid for sidewalk work from CMC Construction at $20,880. Any questions, discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carried. All right, open discussion. Is there anything that anyone wants to bring up?
On the reminder, our next meeting is on the 7th, I believe, not the 6th.
Ah,
On the bottom there. I don't know if the other ones are gonna be accurate.
okay. Oh, the,
14th looks good, so it'll be 21st. And to add to that, May 25th at 6 PM is a community ed meeting, and that's in Gaylord.
okay. Anything else?
Do we wanna have a discussion on this thing, on that projector? Why don't we fix it?
It needs a bulb.
Well, we were gonna get a TV.
We were gonna get a TV.
Yeah.
She has approval to get it.
Yeah, she really would.
Did we approve that?
Yes.
No.
It's not because we got this thing going.
No,
No.
it was never canceled.
Okay, I couldn't remember, that's what I
Yeah.
wanted to bring, I couldn't remember if we did that or not.
No, she has the authority
It was talked, kinda talked
to do
about
it.
last
A
meeting.
TV and a cart,
right,
yeah.
I'm not a big fan.
Of the
Sure.
cart there.
I know, I
Soon as,
just think
yeah,
we
as soon
should
as
do
we're
something.
almost ready to adjourn.
Oh, of the cart? I think that, yeah, the cart is kinda handy.
The card is handy.
Okay.
So,
You're gonna be moving it around all the time,
Well, maybe if they use it in a different space.
then just buy a second one.
Ooh, spend money.
Well, I'm just saying.
on sidewalks.
Yeah, I know,
Because
right?
you're gonna get a bad one,
Yeah, I know.
because they're gonna be kicking that thing around all
Well, she
Okay.
thought she'd put it kind of, I don't know,
Is there a motion to adjourn?
motion to adjourn.
Whoop, wait. Flip a coin.
Have it.
Motion by Councilmember Morgan, second by Councilmember who, Thomas?
Yes.
To adjourn? All right, all in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carried. Meeting adjourned at 8 PM sharp.
See, look at this.
Okay.
Yep, you see the card?
Yes, you want me,
I'll send you the form.
send me, yeah,
Yeah.
that'll,
Yeah.
I put it on my calendar already, so,
The state organization just approved us to open it up, so,
okay.
that was gonna be our next step to invite the city officials.
Oh.